What's up, guys? This is EJ Holland with another episode of the Michigan Recruiting Report. Before we dive into tonight's show, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notifications every time we drop new videos. Also, subscribe to the Wolverine.com today. There's no better time to subscribe than right now. It's official visit season. You want all the news coming out of visits happening on Michigan's campus. Make sure to use our special promo code just for you guys, UM1. That's $1 for 2 months. Over at the Wolverine.com, get exclusive Michigan recruiting information, team information, basketball transfer portal, and so much more all over at the Wolverine.com. Just use that promo code UM1. All right, guys, I was back on the road this weekend. I had a chance to go over to Under Armour, Baltimore, and saw a handful of key targets. Let's go ahead and start off on the offensive side of the ball in the 2027 class with one of Michigan's newest offers, and that's Elijah Hutcherson, top 100 offensive lineman out of Georgia. Now, Elijah made his way out to Baltimore to compete against a really strong group of pass rushers, and he was a top performer. He was one of the best offensive linemen I saw. And right after the camp, Michigan extended an offer. You know, he's really that prototypical tackle. He's tall at 6'6", weighs 255 pounds. He can probably add another 30, 40 pounds to his frame pretty easily. So I think he projects as a true tackle. On3 is super high on him, has him ranked as the number 25 overall recruit in the nation, the number 5 offensive tackle. You know, in terms of his recruitment, like I said, Michigan just offered, so I can't really give you any intel on where the Wolverines stand. You know, they need to get him on campus. But I think that something that will help Michigan in this recruitment is Hutcherson goes to Raven Gap Nikuchi, which is the same school that produced Michigan tight end Marlon Klein. So they already have familiarity recruiting that high school. The staff has visited a couple of times. They know the coaching staff there. Hutcherson is originally from Roanoke, Virginia, but now, you know, at Raven Gap, I think that the Michigan coaching staff can use their ties and can really get into the mix in this recruitment. All right, let's stick in the 2027 recruiting class and talk about one of Michigan's early top defensive targets, and that is edge Chris Whitehead out of the Richmond area in Virginia. And Chris Whitehead, man, he was one of the most impressive underclassmen I saw throughout, you know, my travels this spring. He's ranked super high by On3, the number 3 edge, the number 9 overall recruit nationally. And when you look at Whitehead, he's just so impressive. He has really long limbs. You know, the length is there. The room to add weight is there. Just looks so athletic and natural off the edge. Kind of just fits what I really like at the edge position. Michigan extended an offer to Whitehead this offseason. He actually made his first visit to Michigan in the spring. The Wolverines offered him while he was on campus. Now, Whitehead didn't get to spend much time at Michigan. He was just there for less than a day. So the hope is they can get him back at some point this summer for a more extended look at the program, maybe the barbecue at the Big House in July. You know, he's going to be a very highly sought after recruit. You know, there are a lot of other major programs already in the mix here. So I think for Michigan to really become a major contender, they have to get him back on campus so he can spend more time around the program. All right, let's go ahead and stick at the edge position, but move over to 2026 and talk about Tariq Bony, Michigan's commit 3-star prospect. And Bony was extremely impressive this weekend. He's a guy who's not ranked very high when you look at the industry ranking, number 78 edge, number 852 overall prospect nationally. He's a 3-star across the board, except for ESPN, which has now bumped him up to a 4-star, largely because of what he did at this camp. Bony was one of the more impressive defensive recruits there. He was consistent in winning one-on-ones. He looked great going through individual drills. Bony is quick. He has a terrific first step. He's explosive. He's strong. He's a guy that can squat close to 600 pounds. I had to do a double take and ask his coach if he said the right number. But he's just, you know, really carries a lot of brute strength. Now, the things that Bony doesn't have is he's 6'1", 230. He doesn't have the length. He doesn't have the height. He's very undersized for the position. I think when you look at Bony, the best case is he becomes the next Josiah Stewart, who went in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. And that's the role he would fill at Michigan. You have to be an anomaly and a special player to be Josiah Stewart-esque. Can Tariq Bony be that? I think he showcased that the potential is there with what he did at the Under Armour camp in Baltimore. He even earned an invitation to the All-America game. So, yeah, I think Bony shares some of those characteristics that Stewart had. But, I think he's kind of a hit or miss. He could be the next Stewart, or his limitations could hamper him at the next level. But, Lou Esposito has a good track record of finding diamonds in the rough, and he made Bony a priority early on. All right, let's stick in the 2026 class. Michigan has made top 100 cornerback Kari Adams a top overall target this cycle. He is set to come in for his official visit this weekend. Michigan has surged in this recruitment. I wouldn't say they've surged all the way to the top, but they've definitely become a major contender where they were kind of on the outside looking in going into spring. Now they're set to get an OV. Now, Kari's talking about them as a top school. I think Lamar Morgan has done a great job of connecting with Kari on a personal level. As soon as the self-imposed contact ban came to an end, Lamar Morgan was out in the DMV, met Kari and his family out for dinner. Kari visited for the spring game. Like I said, he'll be back on campus for the official this weekend. So I think that Michigan has, again, become a true contender in this race. I think it's going to be tough, to beat out some of the schools that have been recruiting him harder for longer, like a Penn State or a Notre Dame. Michigan kind of started pushing a little later, but I think that Lamar Morgan has done a fantastic job, and Morgan obviously has won his early share of high-level recruiting battles. He went out and landed Shamari Earls last cycle, flipped him from Georgia, flipped Jordan Young from Clemson. So he's capable of winning these big-time recruitments. Like I said, he's connecting really, really well with Kari Adams and has made up a lot of ground in this recruitment. But I think Michigan needs to hit a home run on his official visit. In terms of Kari as a player, I love him, man. I mean, this was the first time I had a chance to really see him live. When I visited him in the spring, he didn't work out because of track. He's a great track kid. He ran a 10.70 100 meter, probably could have ran a little faster, but ended up having a minor hamstring injury. But still 10.70, really fast. He's listed at 6'1", 180. He is a legit 6'1", maybe even 6'2". He's really well filled out in both halves, really muscular build. You can see that he has the potential to not only just be a fast corner, but he's really physical. I think, if you were to knock Kari in something, it might be technique, but I think that can be easily fixed. Basically what you have in Kari is the total package. I mean, he can be a 5-star level recruit, much like I felt like Shamari Earls was last year. And, he would be a fantastic land. I mean, a duo of Shamari Earls and Kari Adams would be, an absolute dream situation for Michigan. All right, let's end the video by talking about a 2027 recruit, and that is Khaled Rener out of Virginia. Rener visited Michigan for the first time this spring. He is the son of former Detroit Lions linebacker Wally Rener. He is ranked as a 3-star recruit, but a guy that Michigan likes early on out of Richmond Trinity Episcopal. He is about 5'10 and a half, 175. Michigan really likes him as a nickel. Like I said, he's already been on campus. He's looking to get back this summer. With his father having played with the Detroit Lions, he's already familiar with the Midwest. Family's familiar with the Midwest. So I think that, Michigan will definitely be a factor with Reiner. I think that, with him, he gets knocked for his size a little bit. He's not a guy that has a lot of length or is really well put together physically, but he's a great technician. He has great natural instincts, and he was really, really good at the Under Armour Baltimore camp. So he's definitely one to watch in 2027. All right, guys, that is my time. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for free, get notifications every time we drop new videos. Like I said earlier, subscribe to thewolverine.com. Use that promo code UM1. That's $1 for 2 months over at thewolverine.com. You want to subscribe today for official visit season. And I will be back with another Michigan recruiting report next week. See y'all soon.